Hello, good evening. This is UTV Live.
Tonight at 6, the cattle cull controversy continues. The Ulster Farmers Union says Agriculture Minister Andrew Muir should stand down, but he says he's going nowhere.
Let me be very clear. The days of the Ulster Farmers Union dictating government policy are over.
Also ahead, 32 years since her disappearance, Arlene Arkinson's sister tells UTV she will never give up the search for her body.
More students are choosing the vocational route to career success as latest figures show a rise in those attending further educational colleges.
Plus the rest of the day's news, weather and sport, including Dublin banned the script, warn of the dangers of AI for young musicians.
The Farmers Union, the UFU, has called on the Agriculture Minister to resign amid ongoing controversy over the shooting of 51 cows in County Tyrone.
But speaking to UTV, Andrew Muir says he intends to stay in his post and will not be standing down. Sarah O'Kane has this report.
Farmers called for the minister to go on Monday as hundreds protested at the steps of Stormont. There's been a lot of anger after 51 cows were shot dead by deer in the open near 5 Mile Town in June because the owner was banned by a court from keeping them. The Ulster Farmers Union were asked by the media at the start of the week, should Andrew Muir resign? They didn't go as far as that then, but today they have, something the minister has hit back at.
Let me be very clear. The days of the Ulster Farmers Union dictating government policy are over. The Ulster Farmers Union is a lobbying organisation, it's a vested interest, and they represent a section of opinion. But they don't represent all farmers, many of which have been in contact with me, distancing themselves from the Ulster Farmers Union. The stunt from the Ulster Farmers Union is one of many issues that the Ulster Farmers Union have issued statements about.
An emergency agriculture committee meeting was held on Monday over the cull, with officials once again saying they had no alternative. Andrew Muir revealed he had received a death threat. An external review into what happened is now to be carried out by Dr. Martin Blake, a former Chief Veterinary Officer for Ireland. But the UFU have serious concerns about the independence of the review and say confidence has been severely damaged, and the most recent event is just one of many where farmers feel the department has lost touch with farmers. And that's why, following an emergency meeting of the UFU executive, they are now calling for the minister, the permanent secretary and chief veterinary officer at DAERA to resign.
A year ago we passed a vote of no confidence in DAERA because of a number of blunders and just mismanagement that we saw through DAERA policy. This is, I suppose, in some ways to many a natural extension of that. The minister ultimately has the ultimate responsibility for his department, and some of the, and especially what we've seen most recently around the 5 Mile Town incident has made our membership really feel that those concerns that they had, have to be directed towards the person who ultimately takes responsibility for his department, and that is the minister.
This fallout is happening with the review underway, but it's very clear from what the minister said to date, he's not thinking about going anywhere, and he won't be told what to do as we wait for the findings of the reports, and that could take a number of months. Sarah O'Kane, UTV Live, 5 Mile Town.
It's exactly 32 years to the day since Castledurg teenager Arlene Arkinson went missing. To mark the anniversary, her sister has made an emotional return to Bundoran in County Donegal, where Arlene attended a disco before her disappearance.
The 15-year-old was last seen in a car driven by notorious killer Robert Howard. Kathleen Arkinson today made a fresh appeal for information that might help locate Arlene's remains. Our Northwest correspondent Gareth Wilkinson sent this report from Bundoran.
If she had lived, Arlene Arkinson would be 47 now, but she'll forever be the 15-year-old schoolgirl missing, presumed murdered. Bundoran is the last place Arlene is known to have been alive. She had travelled to the seaside town in Donegal for a night out. It's where her sister and family returned today, for the first time since Arlene disappeared on this date in 1994. They released yellow roses into the sea in her memory. What are your emotions? How are you feeling?
I feel very sad, you know. It was Arlene's last place that she would have smiled and been doing. Like, as she didn't know what was going to happen to her on her journey home. She didn't have a clue.
Arlene was last seen in a car driven by Robert Howard. He was a rapist and a child killer who offered to drive Arlene home. Extensive searches throughout the decades have failed to locate her remains. Howard died in 2015, taking his secrets to the grave. This has been more than just an act of remembrance. The Arkinson family hope that by being here in Bundoran today, they will jog somebody's memory or prick somebody's conscience so that they may come forward with some information that will help them finally find Arlene. You've never given up.
Never will give up hope looking for Arlene. I hope I haven't known what I mean. I hope today is the last day I'm saying this. But I hope that every year, but I just hope this year is the last year, that I just hope her remains is found, and if anybody, just appeal to anybody that knows anything out there, please come forward.
Howard was tried and acquitted of Arlene's murder, but the jury wasn't told of his sexual and violent offending dating back to the 1960s. And he went on to kill again, murdering a teenage girl in England 7 years later. Eventually, a long-running inquest found he was responsible for Arlene's death. The Arkinson family believe he was a police informer and have long demanded a public inquiry.
There's unanswered questions. Every system let Arlene down, the whole lot let Arlene down. Everyone let Arlene down, like it shouldn't have been.
You've tried to come to Bundoran before, but you found it difficult. You've made the journey today. Why did you feel that was so important?
I just felt it was important. It was my time. It was my year to do it. I didn't think it would take 32 years to appear back in Bundoran. But I just hopefully that something will come out of this today and that Arlene's remains will be found.
Memories of Arlene Arkinson floating in the wind and carried by the tide. A teenager gone, but never forgotten. Gareth Wilkinson, UTV Live, Bundoran, County Donegal.
In another tragic case, the family of murdered young woman Khloe Mitchell say they have been heartened by the news that the trial of the man accused of her murder is likely to start in the autumn.
A judge has vowed to keep that on track at a hearing today. Our crime and security correspondent Sharon O'Neill has the story.
Sally Mitchell likes to keep her granddaughter close. This precious badge, showing Khloe's face, never taken off. Court has become a very familiar place for this family. A last-minute call from police brought them back to Laganside earlier than expected.
It's still a big shock to us today from what we have just heard within the courtroom, and we'll take it as a positive.
Some relief, yeah, but we'll take it a step at a time.
The 21-year-old, always the life and soul.
Somewhere.
That life cruelly cut short 3 years ago. Khloe vanished after a night out in Ballymena. A search was mounted. Her body was found a week later and a murder investigation was launched. Brandon Rainey was charged with murdering Khloe and was later accused of preventing her burial. Charges he denies. Today's hearing, a review of the case which has been dogged by delays. Rainey had been due to stand trial in March. The court was told medical reports the main outstanding issues.
No exact date for when this trial will begin, but the judge told the defence and prosecution to scope out dates for their experts to give evidence in October and November, telling the court that this was a very serious case and it was his desire to have it dealt with as quickly as possible.
I feel like it was just running on a bit too long, and you know, we're 3 years in now and it's not getting any easier, and the longer this goes on, the worse our pain gets.
Well, it's hard, really hard, but I think as a family enough's enough. We all need closure of some description for all of the family.
Khloe's loved ones will return at the beginning of next month. to find out exactly when the trial of the man accused of her murder will finally begin. Sharon O'Neill, UTV Live.
As part of our youth education series, this week we have been looking at the options for those leaving school, and one of those is further education.
There's been an almost 20% increase in the number of students going to further education colleges here over the last 5 years, as Nathan Hylands reports.
So these are my range of corsets. They're all made from reclaimed and vintage fabrics.
Aoife has always been sketching out an artistic career for herself.
I loved drawing, I loved making anything out of cardboard boxes, so I always knew I was a creative person. I'd done my GCSEs, so I'd done like your business and your art and design, I'd done loads and loads of subjects, but I always knew that the art route was where I wanted to ultimately end up.
After her results, she decided local expertise at Northwest Regional College would weave her way towards university.
My granny would have had aunts who worked in the shirt factory in Derry, so there's definitely a textile history here that I wanted to explore further, and it was amazing. It was just on my doorstep. It was brilliant, and every day I could just go into this creative world.
Aoife is just one of many who chose to go down the further education pathway. Over the last 5 years, there has been a net increase of 19% in students at Northern Ireland's 6 FE colleges. Numbers jumped from around 56,000 in 2020-21 to just under 67,000 in 2024-25. That includes a 5% increase in the most recent academic year. For Caleb, he was running towards becoming a personal trainer. His pathway at the South Eastern Regional College provided him direct entry into his job.
We could do on-site learning. We would be in the gym, as I said, it was half a day at the start, but then it got up to 2 days, I would say, near the end of the year. So 2 days, just the teachers working with us in the gym. Or the 2 years that I did the tech college with was way better, I think, than going on to doing a course that could have lasted me 4 years, because I'm in here doing a job now. I can get settled down, and it's almost a head start, so it is.
I do believe that there is that element of a real recognition within society that vocational pathways have an equitable and the same outcomes and deliver similar outcomes to that traditional academic pathway. I do believe that there's an element that's related to that career-orientated education where individuals know where they want to be, know what they want to do.
For these young people, the FE route has proved as a success and has given drive for the future.
I have went to Paris Fashion Week and done their Sustainable Fashion Week, and also showcased at Manchester Fashion Week, so many doors were opened.
Thought about doing a wee sports massage course, and then maybe in a few years' time go on and maybe open my own gym or open my own proper business as a personal trainer.
Caleb Turley ending that report by Nathan Hylands. The president of the Law Society says he has confidence in Chief Executive David Lavery in continuing to lead the organisation. It's after over a week of growing calls for Mr Lavery to step down from his role after he gave a character reference for his paedophile cousin William Lloyd Lavery, for which he has apologised. In a statement, Mark Borland apologised to society members and victims and said the handling of the matter and how we communicated has fallen far short of the standard expected of us, and that we must now take responsibility for putting that right. He said we should have been more transparent about the independent fact-finding review, but that he is satisfied that this process was robust and independent.
Northern Ireland will host the Baton of Hope campaign for the second time in 2027. The baton is a symbol of suicide prevention carried across the UK to raise awareness and encourage conversations around mental health. It's one of 21 locations selected for the tour, with exact locations here still to be announced.
Major maintenance roadworks are to take place on the M3 Lagan Bridge in Belfast this weekend. The work is planned over 3 weekends throughout the rest of August. The first starting tonight from 9 o'clock until 6 a.m. on Monday, where there will be several closures and diversions in place.
Now next tonight, it's been a summer to remember if you're a sun worshipper, but if a warmer climate becomes more common here, it could make it a more desirable place for visitors that some might find unwelcome.
Yes, mosquitoes thrive in balmier environments, meaning their number could rise in Northern Ireland over time. A research project is underway to better understand the insect and their presence here. Rory O'Regan reports.
Some people in Northern Ireland are more familiar with mosquitoes than others. Ballykelly is one of the places they like. Residents have reported many bites and bumps. But there's still much more to learn about the different species found in Northern Ireland. Here in Ballykelly Forest, these researchers are trying to change that. Over the next few years, they'll be gathering information about the critters by collecting samples and bringing them to Queen's University.
This big chunky one, this is definitely a nuisance.
What he calls a nuisance is a mosquito that can bite humans.
We're trying to find out, what habitats they're breeding in and what species are breeding in those habitats, and then whether those species are known to cause a nuisance. And then in doing that, we can be more informed as to where nuisance biting species are coming from. If it gets, warmer and wetter, that's really ideal for mosquitoes, and we're kind of expecting that in future. That means there'll be more breeding habitats as well as longer activity times. I don't think the issue is going to be going away anytime soon.
A fallen tree creates an inviting home for the insect. Muddy, stagnant water is one of the places it likes to breed in. To collect samples, the research team also uses a suction device called a pooter. This mosquito, though, got away. Traps are also left in the area.
We can put bait in here. We also have bait down here, and it's essentially concentrated human sweat. It's basically a bar of lactic acid. So mosquitoes are attracted to that. They're also attracted to, say, CO2. So as we breathe out, we release CO2. So do animals, and mosquitoes use that to find their blood hosts.
If you're getting bit by a mosquito, it could well be breeding somewhere quite far away.
Nearby, this salt marsh by Lough Foyle is another breeding hotspot. They can travel more than 6 miles from here, looking for something, or rather someone, to bite. For those who do end up bitten, though, it mightn't necessarily be mosquitoes who are to blame. There are other nuisances out there.
The bites that people could be experiencing in Ballykelly could be a combination of both mosquitoes and midges. We've also found horseflies there as well. So it could be a combination of things that contribute to the nuisance biting in this region.
Anyone who wants to do their bit for the bites, they can report any sightings on the Mosquito Northern Ireland website. Rory O'Regan, UTV Live, Ballykelly.
It's making me feel itchy just looking at that.
Yeah, rather Rory than me, to be honest with you. It's just coming up to 18 minutes past 6. Time now for sport.
And with all the action, here's Daniel Duffy.
Work boots during the week, football boots at the weekend. Mulholland Maxus proudly sponsors UTV Sport Updates.
Good evening. It was a successful night for Ireland at the European Athletics Championships in Birmingham. Letterkenny's Mark English became the first Irishman to win a gold medal at the Games as he won the 800 metres. Meanwhile, Razadat Adeleke clinched silver in the 200 metres. And staying with athletics, Kate O'Connor got her heptathlon campaign underway today. She finished 4th in the 100 metres hurdles before a personal best in the high jump leaves her sitting in 2nd place after 2 events. Here's our sports correspondent Ruth Gorman with this report.
Kate O'Connor's return to action in Birmingham is just 2 weeks since her gold medal at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow.
Watching it back just kind of, made all the hard work and training behind the scenes feel really worth it, and I felt so fit and so healthy coming down the home straight that I know I can run even faster, and I just feel in a really good place for the rest of the season.
This weekend is another chance to build towards her main goal, the LA Olympics in 2028.
For the rest of the season, I would love to get a PB. I think that I'm in the shape to do that. If that opportunity presents itself, I think I'm very capable of doing so. But ultimately, it's just developing as an athlete and taking learnings from competitions between now and the Olympics. I think that without making the Olympics the complete pinnacle, because every competition between now and then is huge and means a lot to me. But just because they also come around once every 4 years, I think that to be the best possible athlete that I can be by then is the ultimate goal.
25-year-old O'Connor is in the form of her career, but her dad, who's also her coach, believes there's much more to come.
Gosh, I said this a few years ago. I think the sky is the limit for Kate. Just keeping her healthy, and I said before, I just need the bubble wrap her and keep her safe. Staying fit is the key in this game. Surrounded by a good team who look after her, and I trust very, very much. look, anything's possible with Kate. Like, so LA is the big target, and we're working bit by bit, and all these competitions are stepping stones.
As a father and as a coach, different emotions. How do you contain your emotions when you're watching her? How do you separate the two?
Well, as dad, sometimes, lots of the times we get chances to get dad hugs. The special relationship I think about when your dad is she can say things to me that she's not able to say to anyone else, you know, and yeah, we've a close relationship. Like, it's special, and then it's lovely as dad to be able to get down and see some of the effort and the work that she puts in. Yeah, no, it's lovely. I'm very lucky.
O'Connor will compete in the shot put and 200 metres tonight before completing the heptathlon tomorrow, with the long jump, javelin and 800 metres all to come. Ruth Gorman, UTV Live.
Good luck to Kate. Moving to football, and the Irish Premiership continues this weekend, including the first Big Two derby of the season as Linfield host Glentoran at Windsor Park. Meanwhile, defending champions Larne begin their league campaign with a trip to Irish Cup winners Coleraine. Manager Gary Haverin is expecting the season ahead to be tougher than ever before.
The league's also going to be so competitive, you know. Obviously it's well documented some of the clubs are signing and spending big money, like, you know, but I think everybody's a threat. Limavady will come up and they'll be every bit as much a threat as a Coleraine, a Glentoran, a Linfield. You know, they're very much like that bounce you get from coming up and the enthusiasm, so everybody deserves the respect and everybody gives you a different challenge. The league is so competitive, and as much as maybe the full-time teams have taken the European spots this year, it's small margins in every game. There's very rarely is there big heavy defeats to you know, week in, week out. You know, it's very, very competitive league. It's the team that's most consistent is ultimately the team that will win the league, you know, so we're expecting a tough challenge.
Ireland's final one-day international in the series with Afghanistan takes place tomorrow at Stormont. Although Ireland lost the series, confidence is still high after their historic win against India earlier in the summer.
I think it increases confidence in everyone, you know, the players, the fans, the organisation as a whole. You know, you're talking about beating one of the best teams, if not the best team that's ever played that T20 format twice. So, you know, that'll give everyone a huge boost. And I think the fact that there's so many players missing in that series for ourselves, I think it shows that there's depth here and there's talent here, and we just need to nurture it and make sure that they're the best version of themselves that they can be come when they're experienced players.
In golf, Rory McIlroy is in second round action at the St Jude Championship. He struggled on the opening day, carding a round of 74 to leave himself on 4 over par. He has 2 holes into his second round and he remains 4 over, 12 shots behind the leader, Sun Jae Im. That's all your sport this Friday. Have a great weekend.
Let's go for a kick around. John Mulholland Motors proudly sponsors UTV Sport Updates.
Thanks, Dan. Now, Dublin Band The Script are set to perform at Belfast's O2 Arena on Monday the 2nd of November. It's part of their huge UK and Ireland The Man in the Arena tour.
And their new album, The User's Guide to Being Human, is out today. Lead singer Danny O'Donoghue has been speaking to our reporter Barbara McCann, reflecting on where it all began for the group and the challenges facing young musicians, in particular the threat of AI.
Talking about when you were younger, this is the Sugar Club is where it all started for you.
Yeah.
How does it feel being here? You've been back a couple of times, but how does it feel?
It's surreal, yeah. Well, my brother's the sound engineer here. We had our first show. You just did this here now as well. So it's, standing on the stage, I'll stand in the same spot where we first sang Many Can't Be Moved and sang Break Even. So yeah, I think it's important to kind of have this here. And they've got a great sound system and a lovely projector too.
So that's way back at your younger days. It's important, isn't it, that young musicians get help, you know, at the start. And you yourself, you know, were on The Voice UK and helped young musicians.
Trying.
Has it changed? Will it change for them?
I think it's really scary, and that's why I got involved in with Sinn Féin, the legislation in the Dáil. Is because a lot of people would think, okay, you're in a big band, you know, you got money, what do you care? And that's not the point of why I'm doing it. You know, I've got friends who are trying to upload songs, maybe one song a week, and they're getting avalanched by 80,000 AI generated songs a day going up onto platforms. So it's devaluing music. Music is becoming not important to certain sectors, and we can't have this go on, we can't have this continue on, because it'll drown out anybody who's earning revenue from music. I mean, you take it, like my father campaigned for Fianna Fáil back in the day for artist exemption. So the reason why artists didn't have to pay tax because they weren't earning much money was because of some campaigning that my dad did, and that was 40 years ago. And here we are, you know, now still campaigning, and it's even worse. So we've had streaming, which has then put it onto fractions of on the euro, and then now we've got AI, which is completely devaluing that. So, you know, smaller musicians, there's less and less pubs to play in. There's less and less ways to get discovered. There's, you know, the shows that are on TV that we used to all watch, Top of the Pops, CD UK, all of these stalwarts are not there anymore. And unless you have somebody who's in a position of mind to be able to shout about it, I think the noise just gets drowned out.
And you can see that interview in full on UTV Live with Pamela at 7 o'clock. Now to the weather. It was a bit cooler today than lately, thankfully.
Yeah, I think we're all hoping for some cooler nights as well, Louise. How's the weekend looking?
Well, we had a high of 26.9 degrees Celsius yesterday at Helens Bay, and 5 degrees cooler today, rightly so, as you said, but fresher, highs of 21.9 at Khloe in County Down. Now, we have had some very warm and muggy nights the past few nights. Not great conditions for trying to get a good night's sleep. We actually had a new record overnight minimum temperature, and that was 17.7 degrees Celsius set on Wednesday up towards the northwest. Over the next couple of nights, we're kind of expected to still hold on to double digits, still into the mid-teens in places, but maybe not quite as warm. The weekend, Saturday looks largely dry. A few spots of rain pushing through on Sunday, though, with some rain on Monday. Here is the forecast.
Bringing the warm sunshine outside, inside. UTV weather. Sponsored by the Grande Rona R290 heat pump.
Hello there. Good evening. We have some dry weather on the way tomorrow. 1 or 2 isolated showers. But we'll also have a few brighter breaks at times. Not feeling quite as warm over the weekend as it did the past few days, but temperatures closer to around average for this time of year. We have an area of high pressure across the southwest. It will start to push in as we move through the weekend, but we do have a cold front sinking southeastwards this evening, bringing a few scattered showers at times. Those showers edging in from the west and the northwest, sinking southeastwards overnight tonight. They should start to fizzle out by the time we get to dawn. Variable amounts of cloud as well, with a light northerly breeze. Temperatures will hold up between 11 and 14 degrees Celsius, so more comfortable conditions for sleeping. Into tomorrow then, we have some dry and bright weather around across eastern areas. Variable amounts of cloud bubbling up through the day, which could produce 1 or 2 very isolated showers when the cloud starts to become thicker. Temperatures reaching highs of around 19, possibly 20 degrees Celsius, slightly fresher across the west and the northwest. Across the rest of Ireland, a dry day, sunny spells across the southeast and the southwest, more in the way of cloud across western areas, with highs of around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius, with a light to moderate breeze around the coasts. Taking a look then at Sunday, we do have more in the way of cloud. We have a frontal system edging in, bringing some rain. Most of that rain, though, should start to push in through the latter part of the afternoon, overnight into Monday as well, but it's something to keep an eye on over the next day or so. Further outbreaks of rain expected on Monday, showery with sunny spells on Tuesday. Temperatures on the rise into the start of next week, with some mild nights in the forecast too. Bye-bye.
UTV weather, sponsored by the Grande Rona R290 heat pump.
Thanks, Louise. It's Friday, so just before we go, we've got time to tell you about our newsletter service.
Yes, with all the details, here's Carol Jordan.
Just scan the QR code on your screen now, where you can sign up on Substack. You only have to do it once, and after that, we'll automatically email you our weekly newsletter, where you can get the best of our journalism, insight, programmes, and so much more. It's completely free to sign up. All you need is a phone signal to get it.
So now you know, get signed up. That's the very latest from us this Friday evening. I'll be back with your late news at the slightly later time of 11:30. I hope you can join me then.
There's much more online and on ITVX. Just search UTV News. The ITV News continues now, but from Paul, me and everyone on the team, thank you for watching. Have a lovely evening and a great weekend.
And I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.